welcome back to another video about a children's trading card game. Today I will be rounding out my discussion of the main set OP01 in terms of the character, events and all that sort of stuff, the non-leader cards, by finishing off with purple. After this you can look forward to some fantastic tier list discussions, deck profiles and all that sort of stuff, so please do subscribe if you're interested in that. I'd appreciate it, but let's go ahead and jump right in to this discussion of all of the purple cards in set 1. And we begin with Big Chungus himself. This card is hench, but you got much better top-end options, so you don't really see play. Ulti, this card is really interesting because it saw no play, and then it started seeing a lot of play. So this is a 2-drop 3k on play to pay 1 to add a Don card from your Don deck and rest it. Generally speaking, if a card has an ult art, it's one of the better cards. So that should be an indication that ulti is worth playing. I think it's pretty good, but honestly, there's so much variety in terms of purple decks, and especially when we get the Shanks deck, really they really come into their own. I think this card is pretty good though, and you know, it's ramp, it's good ramp, and remember, if you're not having to pitch cards or something to do the ramp, it's good ramp. You know, it's cheap enough where, like, okay, yeah, the stats kind of suck, but it's fine. Tenkos Kaido, this card is crazy when it actually goes off. Obviously, you're nuking like your entire board, you're losing everything, whatever, but like, yeah. This is one of the... This card is the reason why, to this day, the only viable purple leader is starter deck Kaido. With Blurple Kaido also being potentially viable. But just generally speaking, you kind of go with purple Kaido. It does everything you need to do. Being able to just nuke the whole board when your opponent has like invested a huge amount of time and effort into it. As long as you have more than one life, and so you're not going to instantly die, and you can block like the one card, the one attack you may have to if you're actually on one life and they can put up a massive rusher, you're gonna win the game. This is very, very strong. Yeah. Kyoshiro. This is a 5-drop 6k with an on-play to draw a card if you have a large amount of Dons. This card's okay, but again, it's just better top ends you want to be playing. It's not bad, it's just not good enough to generally warrant actually playing. King, this is a really interesting card because I actually much prefer the starter deck King. So yes, this can potentially kill 2 cards, but Don -2 at any stage before you have 10 Dons feels really bad. And a 3 cost and a 2 cost is actually more restrictive than you'd think. A lot of the times you're actually only be killing one thing with this. And at that point, why am I spending an extra Don to play this card and losing an extra Don to actually use that effect? It's an interesting question, isn't it? Yeah, it sees play, but it's nothing that good. Queen, 6 cost 5k. This is the source when you go up against Purple Kid until we get Douglas Bullet. Because it's an on-play Don -1 to give this card Rush, and then give one of your opponent's characters -2k power. So suddenly, when Kid is a 6k, it becomes a lot more fair. So it's almost like it should have been a 7k or something. But anyway, besides the point, yep, this card is really, really good, really, really nice. It is also a 1k counter. So yes, this sees play to specifically counter 8 drops, 8 cost Kid. It's kind of bad against anything else, but against 8 cost Kid, damn, it'll save your bacon. Orochi, this is a part of a really interesting Kurozumi package, which does see some play. I think mainly just for the blocker that potentially can't die. This is a 2k counter that you get access to. You can add a smile to it from your deck to your hand, but it's kind of whatever. You generally just want to use this as a 2k counter. Semimaru says your Kurozumi family type characters other than this card cannot be KO'd in battle, and then the sort of crux of the combo is Higurashi, which is a blocker. So you play Semimaru and you play Higurashi, and suddenly every single turn you can keep blocking with Higurashi, and it's not going to die unless your opponent removes it by effects. So it's potentially actually quite a nice combo, actually a little bit annoying, and you know, generally speaking, you know, green can out it with something like X-Drake, and oh sorry, not X-Drake, it was the one that kills arrested thing, and red can definitely out it with cards like Nico Robin, but other decks can kind of struggle actually. Obviously blue can just bounce it and stuff, but like, you know, it can actually be a little bit difficult. So yeah, this is actually a shockingly powerful combo that sees quite a lot of play, so do not sleep on it. Sasaki, this is a 2k counter, so immediately we care about it with an on attack to trash a card to add a rested Don card. Again, generally speaking, you're just not going to play this, you're going to use it as a 2k counter, but it is strictly better than Jack because it's a 2k counter, and I don't care about getting the card immediately, whatever. I would much rather have a 2k counter, and because you're probably not going to want to be playing it anyway, right? Then we have got Jack, and this is a different one, and this is a really powerful card because you on attack Don -1 to make your opponent trash a card from their hand. This can be really, really powerful. This can get out of hand if you constrict the if you are controlling how many cards your opponent gets a turn, right? If you're controlling their board and if you're being very selective when you actually attack their life, suddenly a combination of this card and then the 5-cost which also discards a card, the 2k counter which also discards a card I can't remember the name of right now, X-Drake, that's it, which is also 2k counter. Suddenly between those two cards, if every single turn you're just going, yeah, on attack ditch a card, on attack ditch a card, suddenly your opponent has nothing to guard with and they have nothing to do, and if you can back that up with potentially like a Semimaru Higurashi combo, oh no, SpaghettiOs, they're kind of fucked. This is a very powerful potential combo. It's a little janky, but when it goes off, it's crazy. Yeah, good card. Scratch Manapoo, Vanilla. Speed, bad card. Boa Huang on play, you get to look at 2 of your opponent's cards in the hand. Information is nice, but it's not worth playing a bad card like this. Basil Hawkins is an on play to add a Don deck and then trigger to play it. This is an interesting card. It doesn't actually see any play, but it is very generic ramp, and so you should keep it in mind going into the long-term future of the game, because a generic ramp is obviously generic. Babanuki, sorry, this card sees a little bit of play just as a 5/7, but eh. Kamazo, the Manslayer. So this is on KO, Don -1 to KO one of your opponent's characters at the cost of 5 or less. With it being a card that has counter and being a 4/5, this is actually a card that is annoying enough that your opponent may want to kill it. But again, it is sort of one of those cards where, like, well, if your opponent doesn't have any 5 costs or less, they're not going to care. But, you know, I think it's pretty decent. It is a question of deck space, and a lot of the times this card does get cut, but I definitely think it is decent. Who's Who, this is the really bad Who's Who, which you don't bother playing. Fukurokuju, this is a card that does see some play in Blurp or Croc, just because you need to be able to hit big numbers. Yeah, it's actually not too bad. Being able to, because you can ramp out and play like this vanilla, like potentially turn 3, right? Like if turn 2, so yeah, if turn 2 going first, you get, or going second, you get Onigashima down. Then suddenly you can find yourself with actually enough Don to play this. Oh, that's kind of spicy. That's kind of nice. Yeah, this card is potentially quite nice. Just being able to ramp out a really big dude quite fast. And AK is hench. It's not going to be easy to clear, and the opponent's just kind of going to get clobbered by it. Not bad for a large-headed lad. Black Maria, this is a 2k blocker with a Don -1 to give it 1k power during this turn on block. Potentially a bit annoying, but you know, it's a little bit of an expensive blocker, so it immediately gets replaced by Uta as soon as we get that Shank starter deck. Page 1, an activate main to Don -1 to attack your opponent's characters. So this is, this and Frankie, the only cards that can do this, and you can play it out for free with the 2k counter ulti from the starter deck, but not great. Hold'em, this card is bad. I mean, God, why would I want to wait for an on-KO? Like, your opponent just waits a couple turns and suddenly does nothing. And then X-Drake, this is a 2k counter. This is another one that sees a lot of play. It's generally this and Sasaki that people play. Yeah, good card. Elephant's Marchu. So this is an interesting card that did see a little bit of play for a little while. Unsure how viable it is right now. This KOs one of your opponent's characters at the cost of 2 or less, and then you add a Don card. So obviously, if you just kill a blocker and then ramp, that is quite nice, but it is very expensive. And for that reason, I'm not a massive fan. Smile, this is the card that Orochi searches. Yeah, okay, I can search Smile cards, but they kind of all suck, so I'm good. Sheep's Horn. This is a Don -1 to rest one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 6 or less. This is okay, but again, it just really doesn't see play because, Don -1 feels kind of bad, and then, you just got better things you could be doing. Like, you just kind of... Your goal is to put out big things, right? Like, you're fine. This is okay. It's fine. Ultimorta. This is a really interesting card, actually, which is deceptively powerful. So, Don -2 only gives 2k power, but you draw a card. And essentially what you need to do is wait until you are at 10 Dons. Then you're fine to play this, right? Because you're getting those 2 cards back anyway, right? So, and then suddenly this becomes free, right? Like, this becomes totally free because all you need to do is leave 1 Don untapped. You can play this, you get your 2k, and you also replace it, right? And suddenly that becomes very, very good. And obviously in Blurple Croc this is nice because then you draw 2 cards, but in generally in purple this is still pretty decent. So yeah, slept on card, shockingly good. I definitely chat a lot of shit about this card and it ended up being pretty decent. And finally, Thunder Bargoer. This is your 4K, and if you have 2 or less life, you can add a Don from your Don deck and rest it. So if you've just Mega Don minus, potentially that's decent. But yeah, overall this card is okay. Getting a 4K is nice, and the trigger to potentially ramp is fine, but never rely on trigger effects. And that is it for this video. If you think I've overrated some cards, or if I've underrated some cards, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Please do subscribe to the channel for more content regarding tier lists, leader discussions, and deck profiles and all that sort of stuff as the set releases very, very soon, or if it hasn't already by the time you're seeing this. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please do like the video, subscribe to the channel for all that stuff, and also if you like Gate Ruler, Battle Spirits, or Lorcana, I make videos on those too, so please subscribe for that, and join my Discord server to talk about all things TCGs. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.